The Man Who Solved the Market. Written by Gregory Zuckerman. Summarized by goldreaders.com. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Introduction. Jim Simons, a man intrigued by financial market patterns, perceives them as captivating and enigmatic shapes, akin to vast schools of fish or the distant constellations in the night sky. He recognizes that these patterns, much like all aspects of the universe, are underpinned by the language of mathematics. Through the application of mathematical principles, he adeptly anticipates alterations in these patterns, leading to substantial financial gains. Renowned as the most accomplished investor in modern times, Jim Simons has achieved unparalleled success. His hedge fund company, Renaissance Technologies, is spoken of with immense respect in the business realm, globally regarded as the pinnacle of excellence, with financial experts striving to decipher its enigmatic and revolutionary techniques. Yet, Jim Simons is not merely a conventional financier on Wall Street. He's a multifaceted personality, an esteemed mathematician, cipher solver, and philanthropist. His diverse career achievements could easily span across several lifetimes. In this summary you will discover how Simons comprehended Zeno's paradox at the tender age of 4. Uncover the rationale behind naming his hedge fund after a novel by Joseph Conrad. Learn about his unconventional choice of attire when delivering mathematics lectures. Chapter 1. Numbers enchanted him. Jim Simons developed a strong affinity for numbers as soon as he comprehended their significance. Born in 1938 to a middle-class American Jewish family in Brookline, Massachusetts, Jim was the solitary child of Matthew and Marcia Simons. Much like individuals who possess an exceptional aptitude for numbers, he displayed a keen interest in them at an early age. He mastered the art of solving intricate problems by the age of 3. On one occasion, his parents discovered him dividing numbers by 2, starting from 1024 and working downwards. This achievement was truly remarkable for a toddler. During a family drive, when Jim was just 4 years old, he was puzzled when his father had to stop for refueling the car. Jim couldn't comprehend the necessity of this action, as he believed the fuel tank would never deplete. His reasoning was that if they used half of what was in the tank, another half would remain. Then, they could utilize half of that remaining portion, leaving a smaller half to be used next, and so on. Unbeknownst to him, this 4-year-old was grappling with a classic mathematical problem, one of the paradoxes that the ancient Greek philosopher Zeno had pondered. If you always have to cover half of the remaining distance to your destination, no matter how minute, how can you ever actually reach your destination? After completing his schooling, he was encouraged by the family doctor to pursue a career in medicine, seen as a suitable path for a bright Jewish boy. However, Jim had different aspirations. He enrolled at MIT and pursued a bachelor's degree in mathematics. Despite initial struggles and a few failed tests, he dedicated a summer to mastering the more intricate theorems. This period of focused effort marked a turning point for him. He found immense satisfaction in how intricate formulas interconnected across various branches of mathematics, hinting at a potential universal system. He speculated whether he was gazing at a type of code that could unveil the mysteries of the world. He often could be spotted on campus, lying on his back with closed eyes, deep in thought over an equation. On one occasion, he observed two of his professors, renowned mathematicians Warren Ambrose and Isidore Singer, engrossed in discussion at a local cafe at midnight. In that instant, he resolved that this was the kind of life he aspired to have, a life filled with cigarettes, coffee, and mathematics, regardless of the hour. Chapter 2. From Lecturer to Code Breaker. After achieving remarkable academic successes at MIT and Berkeley, Simons began searching for a position as a lecturer. During his time at Berkeley, he managed to complete his PhD in just 2 years, focusing on the geometry of complex curved spaces. His exceptional work earned him a teaching role at Harvard University due to its brilliance. At Harvard, he gained popularity as a professor known for his relaxed and enthusiastic teaching style, which matched his casual attire, sometimes skipping socks. He approached teaching with a fresh perspective, openly admitting that he might not know much more than his students about certain complex areas of algebra. However, he eventually grew tired of teaching as his life fell into a monotonous routine of lectures and academic interactions. Feeling chronically bored, he sought out a new challenge. In 1964, Simons left Harvard and joined an intelligence organization focused on the Cold War effort. This organization was called the Institute for Defense Analysis, IDA, a prestigious research group that hired mathematicians to assist in deciphering Soviet codes. At that time, the IDA was struggling with code breaking and hadn't achieved consistent success for over a decade. They decided to bring in individuals like Simons, even without code breaking experience, for their exceptional intellectual abilities. The IDA was home to many people similar to Simons, individuals passionate about intricate mathematical theorems and lengthy mathematical discussions. The motto of the IDA was, "Bad ideas are good ideas are terrific, and no ideas are bad." During his time at the IDA, Simons learned how to create mathematical models to make sense of seemingly random data patterns. It was here that he also developed a highly efficient algorithm for breaking codes. Soon after Simons introduced his innovative ideas, intelligence experts in Washington discovered that the Soviets had sent a coded message with an incorrect setting. Simons and his colleagues seized this opportunity and utilized their code-breaking model to gain a better understanding of and exploit the enemy's internal communication system. This accomplishment elevated Simons' status both within the IDA and the broader code-breaking community. Nevertheless, even with this achievement, Simons' insatiable curiosity persisted. He yearned for more complex mathematical challenges and more enigmatic codes to decipher. Chapter 3. Exploring Codes and Finance. When attempting to decipher codes at IDA, employees had a significant amount of free time on their hands. Simons used this time effectively by engaging in research and contemplating the realm of global finance. During his tenure at IDA, his exploration of geometry began to yield positive results. He focused on theoretical inquiries rather than practical ones with immediate applications. This involved what could be described as pure mathematics, immersing himself in days of abstract contemplation. His research centered around the complex topic known as minimal varieties, which dealt with the concept of surface area. An illustrative example involves the surface created by a soap film stretched over a wire frame dipped in soapy liquid. Among all surfaces stretched over the same wire frame, the soap film possesses the smallest surface area. Due to its extreme smoothness Every point on this minimal area looks identical regardless of how intricate or twisted the wire frame is. Simons aimed to determine if the same principle held true for minimal surfaces in higher dimensions beyond just the two-dimensional wire frame. In 1968, he published his findings in the work titled Minimal Varieties in Riemannian Manifolds, which played a pivotal role in establishing him as a leading figure in the field of geometry. Yet, this was not enough to fully occupy Simons' attention. Driven by a desire to increase his earnings, he began contemplating ways to apply his numerical talent to analyze the stock market. Rather than relying on conventional investment techniques that factored in earnings and corporate news, Simons approached the market akin to his approach to mathematics, as an abstract intellectual system. He devised a model that focused solely on the moves within the stocks themselves, disregarding external context. He proposed that the market could be categorized into 8 fundamental states, such as high variance, when stocks displayed erratic movements, or good, when they generally rose. His system was unconcerned with the reasons behind the market's shifts into specific states. Instead, it observed these distinct states and enabled investors to make informed bets accordingly. Although his methods may seem basic compared to contemporary market strategies, he was something of a pioneer during his era. Ultimately, predictive theories across various domains would come to resemble his approach. Chapter 4. Breaking Codes to Breaking Markets. In 1968, after expressing his opposition to the Vietnam War to his colleagues, Jim was fired from his job as a code breaker at IDA. Surprised by this turn of events, he sought new employment and eventually returned to academia. He became the head of the math department at Stony Brook University in New York. However, he felt a pull towards ventures beyond the academic world. At the age of 40, to the confusion of many of his academic peers, he left his position to establish Monometrics, a company that managed hedge funds. His goal was to uncover hidden patterns in the financial markets and, admittedly, to attain significant wealth, a desire that set him apart from his fellow academics. He initiated his endeavor by partnering with an old friend from IDA, Leonard Baum, who co-authored the Baum-Welch algorithm. This algorithm played a significant role at Monometrics, enabling predictions of outcomes based on sequences of events, even when the underlying variables were unknown. Such unpredictable sequences were referred to as hidden Markov chains. The Baum-Welch algorithm operated by making informed guesses, analyzing event sequences, and estimating probabilities. For instance, it could predict future events in a baseball game without knowing the specific game rules, solely by recognizing patterns in the gameplay. This algorithm went on to have substantial impacts, including advancing speech recognition technology and contributing to Google's search engine. Simons and Baum believed that a predictive model like this would be incredibly valuable for tracking market movements. This was in 1979, before digital trading became prevalent. They filled their headquarters, a small office in a Long Island strip mall, with numerous graphs and charts to analyze data. Initially focusing on currency trading, they began to generate substantial profits. A standout moment occurred when Baum, while relaxing on the beach, had a revelation. They needed to buy a substantial amount of British pounds. He had deduced that the pound, which was being kept artificially low by the new British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, would soon rise. Acting on his insight, he rushed back to the office and convinced Simons to make the purchase. As predicted, the value of the pound started to rise rapidly. This strategic move led to Monometric's fund expanding significantly, much like the tide filling an empty space, resulting in tens of millions of dollars in growth. Chapter 5. Trials and Turbulence. Monometrics marked Simon's initial foray into the world of finance. He started gathering a team of mathematicians, including old college friends like Baum. Once he persuaded others to join him, they established a hedge fund to oversee their investments. He chose the name Nimroy, an anagram inspired by Joseph Conrad's novel, Lord Jim, and the Royal Bank of Bermuda, which handled the fund's financial transactions to minimize taxes. This name combined financial sophistication with a character grappling with questions of integrity and ethics. In Lord Jim, a young sailor abandons a sinking ship out of fear, leading to a journey of moral reckoning. This resonated with Simons, who saw parallels between his own venture into finance and the character's abandonment of his principles for wealth. Just like in Conrad's novel, Monometrics faced challenges in its early stages. Despite purchasing assets at low prices, they struggled to sell at high points. For instance, they invested in gold, which surged to $865 an ounce, but swiftly plummeted to $500. These miscalculations resulted in significant daily losses, amounting to millions of dollars. Then, one day, Greg Hollander found Simons lying on his office couch. In their conversation, Simons expressed his doubts, reflecting on his own competence. He referenced Lord Jim, once again, highlighting the character's overestimation of himself despite his failures. Simons somberly added, "He had a really good death, though," alluding to the character's tragic yet meaningful end. Chapter 6. Revolutionizing Investment. Despite initial losses, Monometrics, the investment firm he founded, overcame these setbacks by developing a more accurate system to analyze market movements. While many other investors relied on traditional instincts and business news for predictions, Simon took a different approach. He decided to utilize computers, a relatively uncommon technology in the early 1980s, to process data. He renamed the company Renaissance Technologies and embraced a new era of investing. Simon began by gathering extensive historical data and inputting it directly into his computer system. He acquired vast amounts of information from sources like the World Bank, commodity exchanges, and currency price records dating back to before World War II. The purpose was to identify consistent patterns from past market movements that could be relevant today. However, the present market was highly volatile, making it challenging to extrapolate meaningful patterns from historical data. Therefore, the focus shifted to rapidly monitoring current market conditions. To achieve this, they invested in expensive computers, substantial data storage, and high-speed connections to real-time market data. This gave them access to live market prices that were unavailable to others in the investment field. They combined this wealth of data with predictive mathematical techniques developed by Baum, which were further improved by James Axe, a talented algebraist on the team. Axe's refinements made the method more effective at predicting dynamic market series, such as the fluctuating markets of the 1980s. As their model evolved and more powerful computers became accessible, their ability to analyze new data improved. At this stage, Simon and Axe named their hedge fund Medallion, reflecting their earlier mathematical successes. By harnessing their combined expertise, the Medallion Fund became Renaissance's most lucrative portfolio. In time, the Medallion Fund gained renown for achieving the best performance in investment history. It delivered annual returns of over 66% and amassed trading profits exceeding $100 billion. While they didn't completely decipher the markets, they developed a way to detect even the slightest market tremors and shifts. Chapter 7. The Parallel Paths of Simons and Mercer. As the Renaissance Company expanded its investment activities, it sought to attract more skilled individuals. One of these new hires was a man named Robert Mercer, who had previously worked at the technology giant IBM. Mercer had achieved notable success at IBM, laying the foundation for advancements in speech recognition technology. With a remarkable aptitude for coding, Mercer perfectly matched the type of person Renaissance was seeking. Mercer had spent a significant portion of his early life immersed in computers during the 1960s and 70s. His interest in the field was further sparked by a meeting with Neil Armstrong, who had visited a youth science camp in West Virginia's mountains to speak with aspiring computer scientists. After completing college, Mercer worked as a computer programmer in a weapons laboratory. There, he significantly improved the processing speed of lab computers. Despite his accomplishments, his bosses, primarily interested in fulfilling government research requirements, discouraged him from sharing his achievements. This experience shaped Mercer's opposition to government involvement and his belief in individual self-sufficiency without relying on state assistance. At Renaissance, Mercer's coding skills were instrumental in identifying and rectifying flaws in the system, contributing to the company's remarkable success during the 1990s. However, it was his political inclinations that ultimately defined him. Despite his reserved demeanor and dry sense of humor, Mercer held deep ideological convictions. These convictions led him to financially support right-wing political movements and publications, including Breitbart website and later, Donald Trump's presidential campaign. In contrast, Jim Simons, a Democrat, consistently donated millions to Democratic campaigns over the years. While their differing political views were not a major issue while working together in the competitive world of finance, Mercer's support for Trump's presidential bid in 2016 led to a backlash from investors. This forced Mercer, who was co-CEO of Renaissance at the time, to step down from his position. It's believed that Jim Simons played a decisive role in this decision. Simons and Mercer, both exceptional geniuses, one in mathematics and the other in computing, had a significant impact on the world in their respective ways. Their actions, carried out quietly at their keyboards, disrupted lives both positively and negatively. Chapter 8. Impressive accomplishments of Jim Simons. Similar to how the Medicis wielded significant influence over politics, art, and power in medieval Italy and beyond, one could draw a parallel between Jim Simons and a contemporary member of that influential dynasty. When we consider his accomplishments as a whole, they are truly breathtaking. To start with, he holds the title of the most successful trader in modern financial history. No other figure in the investment realm even comes close to matching his profits at Renaissance. Renowned trading figures such as Warren Buffett, George Soros, Peter Lynch, Steve Cohen, and Ray Dalio fall short in comparison. As previously mentioned, the Medallion Fund's total profits are estimated to be around £100 billion. Furthermore, in recent times, Renaissance has been achieving annual trading gains of up to $7 billion. This surpasses the yearly earnings of well-known brands like Levi Strauss, Hyatt Hotels, and Hasbro. At present, Jim Simons' net worth is approximately $23 billion, which places him ahead of individuals like Elon Musk, Rupert Murdoch, and Laurene Powell Jobs, who is Steve Jobs' widow. The innovative trading methods introduced by Renaissance have had a lasting impact on fields extending far beyond finance. These approaches have been embraced by nearly every industry. For instance, the extensive statistical analysis performed by Renaissance and Monometrics has become a standard practice, even among professional sports teams worldwide. Additionally, the delegation of tasks to automated systems, as seen in the military's utilization of robots or healthcare professionals diagnosing illnesses with computers, has its roots in Renaissance's work. Algorithms are now prevalent in almost every area requiring predictive analysis. However, Simons' influence extends beyond industries. After achieving considerable wealth, he assumed the role of a significant benefactor. Much like the Medicis, who supported Renaissance painters and scholars, Simons has provided financial backing to various organizations and individuals globally. A few examples include establishing the Simons Foundation for Education and Health, initiating the Math for America program, supporting the advancement of healthcare in Nepal, and making substantial donations to Stony Brook University. Presently, contacting Simons is notably challenging. Current and former employees are obligated to maintain secrecy regarding Renaissance's trading strategies. From a young boy who enjoyed envisioning numbers in his mind, Jim Simons has transformed into one of the most influential and enigmatic figures on the planet. Conclusion. During his early career, Jim Simons, a talented mathematician, achieved success. He later deciphered Soviet codes and then transformed the investment field with Renaissance technologies. He utilized large amounts of data, algorithms, and computers to revolutionize global finance. After accumulating substantial wealth, he now supports numerous organizations and progressive projects. People who currently or used to work for him must keep Renaissance's trading methods confidential. Starting as a young boy who enjoyed envisioning numbers, Jim Simons has evolved into one of the globe's most influential and mysterious figures.